Jared, it's a real pleasure to talk with you this morning. How are you doing?
I'm doing really well. It's great to talk with you too.
Congratulations on a fantastic movie and finally being able to bring it to us on screen. Tell me a little bit about that journey. I heard it was a little bit of a trek.
It was a 10-year long journey that was absolutely insane. I first wrote the script in 2013 and um, tried to get it made as a film. And telling stories with queer protagonists are really challenging to find financing for. Which I hope that changes. With every new gay movie, you get to open doors for the next gay movie. And then we sold it as a TV show, and then that didn't work. And then finally as a movie. And then 2 weeks into production on the film, the COVID-19 pandemic hit. And we were shut down for 7 months, never really knowing if we were able to finish. So after, 9 years being like, I finally get to be here, and all of a sudden it's, crumbling down before me. And then we did get to finish. So it's been a roller coaster, but I am so grateful to finally be in this place and to share the story with the world. It's really amazing.
Tell me what Caleb means to you and to see somebody like Troy portraying him on screen.
Caleb is sort of the kid I wished I could have been in high school, confident, witty, sure of himself, even though underneath that layer, there is like a scared kid who's dealing with a lot of abandonment issues and shame. He's the type of protagonist of a film that I wish I got to saw when I was a queer kid growing up. I wish I had characters like him to look up to in a movie like this. It would have really saved me and made me feel less alone. And that's what I really hope to do with this film, to make those people feel less alone and understood, and realize that the things that make them different, the things that might bring them shame or fear, are actually the things that they should celebrate about themselves, because it makes them special and important. And to have someone like Troy, who represents all of those things, play this character and do it so beautifully and effortlessly, with heart and humor, and emotional authenticity, is truly beyond my wildest dreams. I'm such a huge Troy fan. He's such a gifted artist, and everything he stands for is what this film stands for. And it was, again, just a true joy.
What excuse me, what I really enjoyed about the film, I think, is the idea that you're not alone, that there's a lot of people that are going through similar situations, not to take away from anyone's specific situation, but at the end of the day, you're going to get through it, and you still have your whole life ahead of you. Talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, I mean, that was such an important part of why I wanted to tell this story. It is this very specific story, but for me, it's the most specific stories. The stories that feel authentic and honest and lived in are actually the ones that reverberate universally for everyone, because they feel more real and honest. And for me, the great thing about movies is you get to walk around in someone else's shoes for 2 hours and get a little bit more empathy for their experience. Or you get to see yourself on screen, and maybe you've never seen yourself on screen before. And so you feel less alone, and that you have a community and a chosen family that you can rely on. And again, those are things that I wish I had more of as a kid, and that I'm really excited to put out into the world for everyone else to see.
And in talking about that, you wanting to see more of it. Do you feel like it's changing in Hollywood right now? Do you feel like there's more opportunities, or do you still think there's a bit more work to be done?
Um, I would say there's a lot more work to be done. I've been in the business for like 10 years, and I often write queer protagonist stories or stories with queer themes, and they are infinitely harder to make and get made than stories with straight protagonists. And sometimes it feels like that's changing, but it's sort of like a pendulum, right? Like with any sort of rights, activism or equality, or even representation on screen, we take a couple steps forward, we take a couple steps back. And I really hope that this movie opens the door for other queer movies to be made, especially Black, Indigenous, people of color, trans, non-binary stories, because they're so rich and moving and beautiful and important, and will really help people feel less alone.
Mhm.
And we need more stories. So I mean, if this movie can do that in any way, that would be like such the joy of my life.
Well, we have a great start with 3 months. Jared, thank you so much for your time today. It was a really nice talking with you, and
Thank you so much.
we hope to see more from you in the future.
Thanks.
All right, take care.